A friend once told me something I'll never forget. Every morning when I wake up, I don't feel any motivation to go to work. I force myself, because the moment I enter that building, I feel this strange heaviness inside me, like my spirit is crushed. I'm never in the mood to work, but I keep forcing myself every single day. This isn't a coincidence. Deep down, you already know that once again, you'll be surrounded by people and an environment that constantly push you into defense mode. This isn't about how hard the job is. It's a sign that you're working in a toxic environment with people who drain your energy. And the worst part? It happens every single day. In this video, I'll show you 10 clear signs of a toxic workplace through the lens of Stoic philosophy. If you recognize even a few of these signs, know that you are not alone. And maybe, just maybe, this video will be the wake-up call you've been needing. If this topic speaks to you, subscribe to the channel and watch the video till the end, so you can clearly understand what these signs are. If you're ready, let's begin. Sign number 1, you feel a constant sense of fear. Every morning, there's a pressure inside you that you can't explain. Going to work is no longer just a physical act, it's an emotional battle. Even on your way there, your mind starts racing. What's gonna happen today? Whose target will I be this time? What will they criticize now? Will I have to prove myself all over again? This isn't just work stress. This is fear, the slow, creeping control of a toxic environment over your mind. Sometimes it shows up as not wanting to open your emails. Sometimes as making excuses to avoid tasks. And sometimes it's just the feeling of being in constant defense, like something could go wrong at any second, and you need to be emotionally armored. The Stoic philosophers would say, name your fear, because it chains you from within. And one end of that chain is the inner voice whispering, stay quiet, endure, don't step out of line. But Stoic philosophy teaches you to break free from fear and restore your inner peace. Because if you start every day in fear, you can't make free, conscious decisions for that day. Sign number 2, speaking the truth gets you silenced. Imagine this. In a meeting, you speak up to defend a colleague who's being unfairly criticized. You think management will appreciate your sense of justice. But instead, the room goes silent. The tension rises. People's eyes say it all. How dare you speak up? You should have stayed quiet. And then, your workload increases. Your ideas are ignored. People grow cold toward you. You sit there thinking, what did I do wrong? In toxic workplaces, telling the truth is considered breaking the rules. Silence is rewarded, honesty is punished. People slowly learn a bitter truth. Those who speak openly don't last long here. So what happens? People swallow their thoughts. They stay silent in the face of injustice. Before every meeting, they think, if I speak up, they'll transfer me to another department. If they read what I wrote, my career might suffer. There is no freedom of speech, because the atmosphere is constantly filled with the fear of punishment. So people stay silent, and in this silence, everyone begins to wear masks, pretending, hiding. The workplace turns into a quiet theater, everyone playing a role, but no one being real. And the worst part? Over time, you start getting used to this silence. The voice of justice inside you fades, because in order to survive, you feel forced to silence your conscience. For the Stoics, truth was the highest virtue. To them, a person's inner integrity mattered more than the outer world. If you stay silent and betray your own values, you're not just betraying others, you're betraying yourself. Epictetus once said, if something disturbs you, the issue is not the thing itself, but the value you place on it. But if an environment strips you of your ability to value truth, then the problem isn't just in your thinking, it's rooted in the system itself. Stoic philosophy encourages you to be calm and wise, but not blindly obedient. Silence is not submission. It's the courage to speak the truth with inner strength. If you're being punished for telling the truth, then that place is ruled not by growth, honesty or trust, but by fear, lies and surrender. Let's move to the third sign of a toxic workplace. There's always a rule. Every problem must have a scapegoat. When the system fails or plans fall apart, leadership rarely takes responsibility. Instead, someone is blamed. A project is delayed due to poor planning or lack of resources. But one employee gets blamed for replying late to an email. Management gives contradictory instructions. Yet in the end, someone at the bottom is scolded. Why didn't you execute this properly? In such environments, you're constantly on guard, because any mistake can become a shadow that follows you. People don't fail. The system doesn't fail. It's always you who somehow didn't do it right. That's a clear sign of leadership avoiding accountability. Toxic leadership doesn't focus on outcomes. It focuses on blame. And in this environment, people fear not failing to learn, but being blamed for something. This creates a workplace where employees operate in defense mode. They hesitate to offer new ideas, afraid of being held responsible if something goes wrong. Innovation dies, initiative disappears. Everyone adopts the mindset. Keep your head down, just do your job. So how does Stoic philosophy view this? It teaches that responsibility is the tool of the strong. If leadership refuses to share responsibility and always seeks someone to blame, it's a sign that the organization is weakening from within. Because true leaders share problem, not blame. Yes, everyone makes mistakes. You do too, and that's normal. But working in a system where you're constantly blamed can make you feel guilty even when you've done nothing wrong. The fourth sign of a toxic workplace is this: people don't celebrate each other's success. Imagine a coworker works hard and earns a promotion. They're praised by management, get a raise, or are chosen to lead a new project. In a healthy environment, this inspires people. They celebrate, support, and feel motivated by that success. But in a toxic workplace, success feels like a threat. As soon as someone rises, the whispers begin. Of course, they got promoted. They're close with the boss. They probably took someone else's spot. They didn't really deserve it. Your success makes others uncomfortable. But in reality, these reactions come from people who've long lost their sense of freedom. Because in a toxic team, success triggers fear and jealousy. People see someone else's rise as a threat to their own position. This creates not healthy competition but a silent war. And what happens then? People start hiding their success. They stop sharing achievements because they know behind every smile there may be a colleague in disguise wearing a mask of friendship. In such teams, cooperation, unity, and shared success exist only in presentation slides, not in real life. So what does Stoic philosophy say about this? The Stoics taught, another person's success is not your downfall. That's a powerful truth. If you feel envy, insecurity, or unease when others succeed, it means you're not deeply connected to your own path. According to Stoic thinking, every person should focus on their own journey, their own will, and their own growth. You should not feel ashamed, angry, or less than because of someone else's success. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, another's good fortune is not your misfortune. Do your own work, the rest is not your concern. So if success is punished in your workplace, if it's met with envy rather than encouragement, then growth doesn't rule there. Broken relationships do, and that is just another silent poison that slowly crushes your spirit from the inside. The fifth sign of a toxic workplace is this: you're never treated as a human being but only as a tool. Every day, you're expected to produce more results, react faster, take fewer breaks. But how you feel, how tired you are, how overwhelmed you've become, no one seems to care. If you're criticized for not responding to messages sent late at night, if you're told don't interfere with work when you try to deal with a family issue, if getting sick makes you worry not about your health, but about work falling behind, then you're not being seen as a living, breathing person. You're being treated as a result-generating machine. In these environments, people are judged only by their functions, like a computer or printer. If it works, it stays. If there's a problem, replace it. This kind of mindset slowly numbs a person. You're no longer seen as someone with dreams or emotions. Your worth is measured only in productivity metrics. No one asks what makes you happy, what you're working for, or how you feel. Eventually, you stop asking yourself those questions too. A deep emptiness grows inside you. Because you're working, but you're not living. Yet for the Stoics, a human being is not defined by physical labor alone, but by their mind, soul, and values. They said, a person's dignity is not just in their labor, but in their inner qualities. Epictetus wrote, "You are not a body. You exist through your will, your thoughts, and your choices. If you're only valued for what you do, not for who you are, you're living just one small fragment of life." But Stoic philosophy calls us to be whole, to live with your soul, your feelings, your choices, and your way of life. Yes, you are not a tool. You are a thinking, feeling, and worthy being. If your workplace can't see that, if it doesn't nourish your spirit, then you're not growing there, you're only surviving. Another common sign of a toxic workplace is the normalization of gossip and backbiting. You walk into the office, you haven't even turned on your computer yet, and you hear whispers from the next desk. Do you know what she told the manager? Yesterday he yelled at someone in the hallway. I wonder why they gave her the project. It feels like there's more talk than work. Everyone is discussing what someone else did, said, or didn't do. Instead of supporting one another, people are watching each other, waiting for mistakes. Even when you try to help or do something good, they still talk. Oh, trying to impress the boss, huh? And over time, you find yourself trapped in the game. You either join the gossip or stay silent. But inside you're uneasy, because you know they talk about you too. People stop believing in truth. They believe in what they hear. What matters is not what you did, but what others say about it. Sharing an idea or taking initiative becomes a risk, because your words today can be turned against you tomorrow. So people go quiet. They smile artificially. They try to protect themselves, and a voice inside says, "Don't mess up here, or they'll crush you." In such environments, even breathing feels difficult. You don't feel like you're working anymore. You feel like you're taking a daily emotional endurance test. Simply put, if gossip, backstabbing, and constant tension are a daily reality, then this is not a healthy workplace. It's an environment that slowly eats you from the inside. Constant gossip steals your inner peace, because now you're no longer living by your own thoughts. You're living inside other people's words. You don't even have time to build real plans for yourself, because your mind is clouded with things that don't belong to you. But Stoicism offers a different path, a life that is simple, honest, and purpose-driven. The Stoics taught that your energy should be spent on improving yourself, not on gossip, cultivating peace of mind, not chasing drama, walking your own path, not watching others. Of course, in toxic work environments, expecting fair decisions from leadership is often a fantasy. In other words, at such workplaces, you are likely to face unfair decisions on a regular basis. And that brings us to the seventh sign of a toxic workplace. You'll often see someone who is dedicated, quiet, and responsible staying in the same position for years, while someone else who shares tea with the manager or constantly flatters them suddenly gets promoted. Whispers begin to circulate. Why him? He can't even do the job. Why did they choose her? Looks like doing your job well isn't enough. In toxic environments, decisions are based on favoritism, not competence. It's not about who deserves it, it's about who looks good. And this doesn't just affect one person, it destroys the motivation and morale of the whole team. In the face of injustice, people are trapped between two painful options. Stay silent and slowly break inside, or speak up and be labeled as the troublemaker. Eventually, the employee begins to question themselves. Why am I working so hard? Why does no one see my effort? Where is the justice? And these questions slowly make you lose interest in your job, exhaust your spirit, and erode your confidence. Where there is no justice, hard work starts to feel pointless. So what does Stoic philosophy say about situations like these? To the Stoics, justice is not just a matter of law, it is a deep internal value. If a system runs on injustice, it will eventually collapse from within. Because people stop believing in merit and start believing in manipulation. Epictetus once said, "Do your part rightly, Let the injustice of others not sway your path. This means that even when you face injustice, you should not abandon your own values. Even in an unfair environment, be fair yourself. That is your strength. The eighth sign of a toxic workplace is constant overload and unrealistic expectations. The day begins when you're already exhausted. You haven't even turned on your computer yet, and emails, tasks, and urgent demands are already flooding in. Finish this by end of day. This was sent to you, so you're responsible. I emailed you last night, still no reply. If this is your daily reality, this isn't just a busy day. This is burnout. The days go by and all you receive is more work, less rest, higher demands, and little to no appreciation. You're no longer treated like a human, but like a machine that must keep running. The work never ends. You go home, but your mind stays at the office. You might even dread your phone buzzing, because it could be another urgent message. You can't even enjoy your weekends, because tasks for the next week are already being sent out. And worst of all, despite all your hard work, you don't feel valued. There's no gratitude, no support, only demands. Do more, do it faster, do it without making noise. A person working in such conditions begins to burn out physically first, then emotionally. This is the well-known state of burnout. But it's not just about tiredness. It's the extinguishing of your inner fire. You no longer want to do the job you once loved. You start doubting yourself and your abilities. According to Stoic philosophy, if you don't know your own limits, the world will load you with more than you can bear. Every person has a threshold. If you always say yes, always try to keep up with everything, you'll lose yourself in the process, because no one can stay calm under endless pressure forever. The Stoics taught that true strength and peace come from knowing your limits, being able to say no when necessary, and protecting your own well-being. That takes courage. Being surrounded by emotional manipulation is the ninth sign of a toxic workplace. Sometimes they don't directly mistreat you. They don't raise their voice. They don't say anything openly harsh, but they say things that make you feel guilty inside. For example, "We trusted you, but everyone else can do it. Only you are struggling. You know what will happen if you don't get this done, right? I stood up for you and now." This is emotional manipulation. They don't openly accuse you, but they make you feel inadequate, like you're always the one messing things up, like it's all your fault, like they're doing you a favor by even letting you stay. And what happens as a result? You begin to doubt yourself. You start thinking, maybe it really is my fault. You begin to lose confidence in your skills, your decisions, even your values. Emotional manipulation is often silent and invisible, but its impact is deep. It can turn you into someone who can't defend themselves, who's constantly apologizing, and who always feels like they're in the wrong. But Stoic philosophy teaches you to stand firm within. No one, not even your boss, gets to define your worth. If someone's words are constantly belittling you, making you feel weak, that's not communication. That's psychological pressure. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you do not accept a thought, it cannot hurt you." Meaning, it's not what others say about you that matters. It's what you say to yourself. Never forget, if someone makes you feel small, it doesn't show their strength. It only reveals their inner weakness and their need to hide it by dragging others down. The 10th sign of a toxic workplace is silence. Listen closely. In these workplaces, nobody speaks up. Nobody complains. Nobody says this isn't right. But this silence doesn't come from peace. It comes from fear. People feel like they must stay quiet, because if they say something, they might lose their job or become a target. So they keep their heads down and focus on surviving. But that silence slowly becomes a form of quiet suffering. You see tired eyes, fake smiles. There's movement all around, but no life. And the silence becomes so normal that even you learn to keep quiet. You start thinking, nothing will change anyway. I'll be the only one who speaks up. It's not worth it. The result will be the same. But you forget silence is also a response. And this silence, it's not weakness. It's the result of fear. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, Every mistake you silently accept, you'll eventually have to answer for in your own heart. And Marcus Aurelius called it out clearly. Silence born from fear is not freedom, it is a chain. When you stay silent in the face of injustice, you slowly give up your freedom. Every time you bite your tongue, you bury a part of yourself inside. Stoicism teaches us this. Let your inner calm come from strength, not fear. Yes, sometimes silence is wise, but it should never come at the cost of your soul. So what does all of this mean? A toxic workplace doesn't just exhaust you physically, it crushes you emotionally too. It makes you doubt your strength, your value, and even your future. But the Stoics remind us, we can't control external events, but we can choose how we respond. Staying in such an environment is a choice. Walking away and creating a new path, that's a braver choice. If your workplace has made you silent, lifeless, and worn out, then ask yourself, how long will I keep accepting this silence? And before we end this video, I want to say one thing. If you recognized even a few of the signs we discussed, this is your signal. It's time to reclaim your energy, your strength, and your self-worth. Protecting your values is more important than any job. Thank you for watching until the end. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. And in the comments, write, I've worked in a toxic environment, or I'm still working in one now. Let's share and talk about it together, because what we learn can help others too. See you in the next video.